Good day, everyone. Richard Cobrathwaite for Northwest Access TV. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be talking for a half hour today about the Swanton Energy Committee, taping this show on Tuesday, March 15th. Happy to have three guests with us. Reg Beliveau, the Swanton Village Manager and the co-chair of the Swanton Energy Committee. Jen Yando, the other co-chair of the Swanton Energy Committee. Good to see you folks. And back for the second week in a row. Always good to see Marlena Valenta, Energy and Climate Planner with the Northwest Regional Planning Commission. Good to see you folks.
Thank you.
So the Swanton Energy Committee, Jen, I guess you're getting some credit. There used to be such a committee, and I guess it kind of got dormant for a while, and apparently because of at least some of your efforts, it's back to life.
Yeah, I moved back to Swanton. I grew up in Swanton. I moved back to Swanton December 2019, and a couple months later, I reached out to Swanton Town and said, hey, do you have an energy committee? If you do, I'd really like to be part of it, and started the ball rolling. So I've been on the energy committee since. So what about
That's right.
2020? So almost 2 years now.
So was there a Swanton Energy Committee years ago, Reg?
Well, I guess there was an energy committee. I was a person on the energy committee, so I guess that one person could be a team. But that was pre-COVID, and then once COVID hit, I mean, everything fell apart. But then I got the phone call from the Swanton Planning Commission that says, hey, we got a person interested in revitalizing the energy committee. And I said, well, sure, that'd be great, because I could use some energy. And introduced me to Jen, and yeah, the rest is great history. We've had some good programs come about from it, and it's just good to work with somebody that is willing to work hard along with you. So.
Right. And Marlena, again, with the Regional Planning Commission, sounds like one of the commission's many tasks is you're happy to see towns and trying to help and support towns that want to start energy committees.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds like you have a ways to go here in Franklin and Grand Isle counties.
Yep. So my position exists across all regional planning commissions in Vermont. It was funded by a grant, and one of the main purposes of it is to support local energy committees. And our region is sort of unique in the fact that we only have one energy committee currently, and that's these two. And so as far as supporting them, like, they really get a lot of one-on-one attention, because it's really nice to see the work they're doing and try and foster that. In Swanton, we do have a regional energy committee that is recently rebooted and will hopefully be doing work soon. But I do also want to give props to our conservation commissions. We do have quite a few of those in our region that do sort of similar work, but often focus more on like our natural environment more than our energy usage and how that can be changed.
Interesting. And what kind of, again, you're with us today, what kind of support can you give these folks? Just some of your expertise, or what can you do for these folks?
They're both very savvy and have a lot of expertise, but just offering the regional scale, so being able to promote events on a regional scale, offer support, offer connections. We do a lot of planning together, so I'll go to the meetings, we'll talk about upcoming events or upcoming programs, and how I can support that. So it's very flexible. It's really just trying to form a partnership and work together and make sure that all of the work they put in is as effective as possible.
Right. Rich, I'm flashing back because I happen to think of it, maybe 3 or 4 years, was there like an energy day on the Village Park? You had the small house, wasn't that an energy connection to that?
Yeah, that was the Climate Economies Model Community Program. So we had Efficiency Vermont, we had VEPSA as our joint action agency, we had Vermont Gas was there. And it was just introduction to green energy, cleaner energy. They had a ZEM home there, zero energy modular home.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I mean, that one, it was kind of an honor too. They said that ZEM home was the most visited out of its trips throughout the state of Vermont. Really? With the Swanton program that we had. So there's a lot of outreach, a lot of good collaboration with those other agencies, those other companies and stuff. But we didn't get a lot of purchasing of ZEM homes, but it was a good, I think it was a good first step to introduce that to people. The concept behind them was, if you purchased one of these, what you would pay in your mortgage is offset by what you would save in your energy costs.
Oh,
So
interesting.
for fuel and that kind of stuff. But yeah.
Interesting. So Jen, you and Reg are the co-chairs of the Swanton Energy Committee. Have you got some other folks on the committee at this point? Are you always looking for other folks, or how big's the committee?
The committee is 4. We have one who is also, Andy's on the planning commission, so he represents the planning commission when he sits at the
And
table.
again, you're a member of Development Review Board in Swanton also, aren't you?
Yep. Which that is newly. I just joined the Development and Review Board 2 months ago. It kicked off for me. And then we just recruited, so to speak, one of the local plumbers, Robinson Plumbing and Heating, to join the Energy Committee, because having somebody with that kind of knowledge at the table will be really, really instrumental for us to get the good information and education moving forward.
So have you got a vision, and what's your vision for the Swanton Energy Committee?
Oh, what's my vision? It's, for me, it's all about educating the community members and making sure they're aware of what options are available to them, not just through, not just what sits on the table with VEPSA from Swanton Energy, or from Swanton Village rather, but also with Efficiency Vermont's programs and offerings, and what rebates are available for a refrigerator or a stove or a window, or the window clings that she's doing a program on electric vehicle incentives and EV charging incentives, and just having conversations and getting the knowledge on the table is the first step to getting people to move forth with reducing their greenhouse gases and saving on their costs. It's not just about greenhouse gases, it's also about reducing their energy costs. While Swanton Electric is one of the lowest utility rated kilowatt hours residentially in Vermont, if you can reduce your payment to Swanton Electric, we're all on it. Like that's one of the key pieces of it for sure.
Interesting. Reg, you certainly spend a pretty good hunk of your life on energy, obviously, with the Ormany Croft generating facility, but I'm happy to see this committee get some more life to it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think what Jen was mentioning as well is, the rebates and stuff that are offered through the utilities. So Swanton is kind of unique because we have actually 3 utilities within Swanton's area. So you got GMP, you got Vermont Electric Co-op, and then Swanton Electric. So each one of these utilities do offer rebates and incentives along with Efficiency Vermont. So what we're trying to do with the committee is help, not just focus on Swanton Electric because, we're, Swanton Electric, but we should be having everybody understand that there are incentives within your utility as well. So that's part of the education part. We were mentioning earlier before the show, we would be naive if we thought that we could go strictly away from be self-sufficient and just strictly electric. That would take years to get to where we need to be, for sure. But, educating people and taking the small bites out of, carbon, the fossil fuels, I think is the mission of this committee. Just like Jen said, the education. It started out, I got the electric chainsaw, and then I went to the snow blower, then I went to the weed whacker, then I went to the lawnmower. I mean, it's small bites. That, and I'm a crappy mechanic, so electricity is good in that fashion. But it's just they're out there and they're very, very good incentives, and it's just you can't be scared of it. I mean, you got to try it out and see how effective it is and useful it is.
Swanton Village Electric, for the record, covers, I assume, all of the village and most of the town. I guess what, Vermont Electric Co-op's out in West Swanton, and GMP's got some Swanton customers too?
Yeah, there are some areas in West Swanton that is GMP. We go out towards the Highgate Springs area, that's Vermont Electric Co-op, but then we have areas outside in Highgate Springs that are also Vermont or Swanton Electric.
And of course, you're covering, as you say, some of Highgate also.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and we go down, in Highgate Village. When you're going down McQuam Shore Road, we stop, I think we're out around Janes Road, and then it's GMP. And then areas, I'm trying to grabbing at brain matter right now just to remember them all, but yeah. Yeah.
Well, anyway, we did a recent show that I'm not sure it aired yet, but I'll give you a minute or two, again, a reference to efficiency, and we did a show on window dressers, and again, you're involved with that, and again, just an effort to make homes more efficient with window inserts. I'll give you a minute or two if you want to talk about that quickly.
Yep, exactly. So they're pine frames with thin plastic wraps, and it really helps to make homes efficient. They're very affordable. They pay for themselves in less than 2 years. They save about a gallon of heating fuel per square foot of window every year. So, they're a really good option. And they also have a program for free inserts for low-income residents. So we are taking signups for that right now. There's a community build. And I think that, pairs really well with energy committees because, it serves a lot of purposes. It helps people save money. It helps the environment, and it also builds community. And I think energy committees really serve that purpose well. And I think there's sometimes questions about the effectiveness of working on a municipal level. It seems like such a small scale, especially, our region has such tiny municipalities. But like Reg was saying earlier, we have great incentives at the state level. Vermont has done a great job creating these incentives and offers and ways people can use these new technologies, but the municipal level works so well at getting people informed. It can be really confusing. It can be really daunting. It's hard to know how effective they'll be, what are the risks that come with it, and having people in your area that can tell you about it, that can have a conversation with you, that can show you how they've used it, is really effective in helping people make changes. And, that really is the grassroots aspect of it. And I think, programs like EV days, where people get to come and talk to people who drive EVs in the region, is so much more effective than, going to a dealership or reading about it online, because you get to hear how it functions in your region. People who drive similar distances to you, people who live in similar climates to you, who live on dirt roads. So all of those things, it makes it really helpful, and it provides a completely different benefit than a statewide program would.
Right. Jen, any specific programs you're looking to do, any events just to kind of give you folks more attention? Anything planned at this point as we get almost into spring and summer not too far away, hopefully?
Well, last year we did an EV test ride event, and we were talking the other day and decided, that was a great success and wanted to do that again this year. We actually had one of the local, we like to partner with the local dealerships, and if they can bring EVs there, so you've got the local people, plus you've got the local dealerships. They actually sold, I think it was 3 cars within a month of that event. And they said that it was because of the event. So
Really?
people were comfortable in that kind of an environment, because you can go from a Chevy Bolt to a Tesla to a Nissan Leaf to a Mustang Mach-E. So it gave them the variety to test drive and compare quickly on site and have a quick conversation, because it wasn't the salesman showroom environment.
Right.
It was chit-chatting with us, chit-chatting with the drivers, chit-chatting with the salesmen, but very casual and fun. So we're going to do that again this year. We also did a heat pump event last fall, which was a Zoom event because we still had a lot of the restrictions in place. So EVT joined us and did a presentation on heat pumps and how they work. We're going to roll with one of those again this year, because heat pumps definitely have an impact on your greenhouse gases, on your energy cost, can help reduce your oil cost, which is running up a little bit higher right now. And then it also acts as your dehumidifier and your air conditioner. So one little tool that can do 3 things is super efficient for houses today. We had a landlord meeting last year where we invited landlords in, again, a Zoom event, but to hear about different programs. We partnered with Vermont Gas, with Efficiency Vermont, with VEPSA was on that one. Anybody who made sense to be at the table. So we'll probably do something like that again, things that make movement forward that really have been productive. Whether they were as productive as we hope they were or not, we also recognize that there's a lot of restrictions in the times that people can attend. So we're also right now playing with the idea of doing an event like a Zoom event again, but from your home. So we'll be at the offices. They'll be able to plug in from home and just change the topic on a quarterly basis. So we might do weatherization in the fall. We might do some EV education on one of them. We might do heat pumps on one of those. But then we'll also do the EV test ride event and heat pump events where you can come and see and feel and touch and have conversation on site. So a little bit of variety will be coming at everybody this year, we hope.
Interesting. Reg, given Swanton's, I think, second lowest electricity rates in the state, does that almost hurt you a bit? Obviously, people like to have the smallest bills they can, but does that almost hurt you with people paying relatively low electricity bills to get people motivated to, get a little more efficient about their?
It's a trade-off, right? You increase your electric usage and you decrease your fuel consumption. So whether it's, with natural gas or fuel oil, it's a trade-off. So, I mean, it's nice to have the increased sales, but it's also, I mean, you get rid of the carbon footprint as well. So that's our hope there. When we first started out, we had quite the impressive team. I mean, with VEPSA, Vermont Gas, and Efficiency Vermont. I guess what we would like to try to get the point across to people as well is that Swanton Electric is a small utility. I mean, with 36 or 3,800 meters, but we have far-reaching resources. We got the contacts with Vermont Gas and Efficiency Vermont, and with VEPSA for the rebates. So, when you're talking to a small utility or you're talking to a large utility, GMP, they have the same resources and the same incentives to help ratepayers. So,
Just, you made a few references to VEPSA for the Record Vermont Public Power Supply Authority.
yeah,
And you're chair of the VEPSA board at this point?
yeah, I'm still chair of the board. Yeah.
Talk a little about, I'm not sure everybody out there knows much about VEPSA, but Swanton, of course, one of the member utilities with,
Sure.
just talk about that a little bit.
Sure, yeah, thank you for that. So we're part of a joint action agency, and basically what that means is that there's, I believe, 13 public power utilities in the state of Vermont. There's 11 of us that are part of VEPSA, and they assist us with the purchase power. So if we can't produce what we, through our generation, they go out and they help look for renewable energy for our ratepayers. They do that with all of these other utilities as well. If we have to go in for a rate case, they come in, and that's quite extensive, doing a rate case. They'll help us out and develop our rate case and present it to the Public Utilities Commission. They do a lot of other things. They help with, they also help us with management services. So if, let's say, for example, if you had a municipality that they're transitioning between a manager or a town administrator, we could offer that type of assistance for them. We can offer accounting assistance for them as well, because people come and go in a small utility, and you don't have the far-reaching staff. Typically you got a staff of 5 people, and all of a sudden your head accountant leaves, and now you're trying to go out, and now the workforce is pretty limited. You try to go out to find an accountant nowadays, and that's very difficult. VEPSA can help with that and help with that transition, come in and work with the municipality, so they offer that as well. And then again, the incentives, they do public outreach for the utilities as well. So just help us brand who we are and what's important about public power.
Interesting. Swanton, you produce most of your own power,
Roughly 80% of what we need, yeah.
that's
When the
mostly.
river's flowing and everything is,
Wow.
all the stars are aligned, about 80%, yeah. So our
Really?
peak load, I believe, is 9 megawatts, something like that.
Wow.
And, like the other day, I think we're at 8 megawatts and we're producing 8.5. So,
Interesting.
whatever the excess is, we're able to put it up on the grid. So
And that other 20%, does that change? Is it a mix of other power sources, or?
the remainder of those are renewables. So,
Yeah.
it could be other hydros, it could be other solar, it could be some wind. But yeah, we try to make sure we are making sure it is renewable energy that we're bringing in, yes.
Interesting. I asked you off here, the Swanton Wind Project certainly got some attention around here a few years ago.
Yeah.
Controversial project, which didn't get too far. You wouldn't expect that, an effort to bring that back to life? Does that seem like it's dead?
Well, I'll give you a quick example. So we had 2 solar fields. Actually, it was a 3 solar field, 3 500 megawatt solar projects that were going to come into Swanton, and they developed 2, and they opted out of the third one because our energy were so low that they couldn't ROI the project on the sale of their renewable to get back what they invested into the project. So they just left the third one on the table. The Swanton wind project, one of the downfalls of that was there was no, the conductors weren't large enough to be able to send that electricity out onto the grid. So to upgrade all that, and I believe that was in GMP's territory also, even though it was Swanton Wind, it was GMP's service territory. They would have to upsize, upsize the conductors and stuff, and the aesthetics. The residents of the area didn't want it there,
Yeah.
so.
Interesting. Marlena, so again, hoping Swanton will get some other folks, other towns, municipalities joining energy committees. So have you got any prospects right now? Are we close to any other town?
Not really,
Really?
but we're very hopeful to encourage any towns that might have this sort of interest or drive. There's motivated people in every community that might not know that this is an option, that they can start an energy committee. The nice thing about energy committees is there's a couple different forms they can take. So they can be a subcommittee of an existing town committee like the Planning Commission. They can also be full committees appointed by the select board. And they can also be ad hoc. So there are many towns that just a group of citizens that really cares about climate and energy issues will form, and they will start doing little projects. They don't need to have, any big oversight or startup. It can just be, starting with a project. A lot of them, I think that really is the best way to start, is like picking a project like an EV day, something that is tangible, you put together, you can see the results, you get information to the community. It doesn't take a lot of overhead. So, that really can get the ball rolling, get people involved. People can start to see why this is important. And another kind of important role that energy committees can play is applying for grants or helping get grants for other town entities. So, applying for grants to get solar for the school, or get heat pumps for municipal buildings, or do audits or weatherization on a town building. So things like that, they can kind of drive that side of it and really get their town all the benefits and the kind of up to speed. So that has proven very successful for a lot of towns.
And again, the Planning Commission, Regional Planning Commission, there's a energy subcommittee as part of the Regional Planning Commission?
Yep, exactly. And it had been kind of on break after the comprehensive energy plan was put together. That took a lot of work. We didn't put it together, but we contributed, and there was a lot forming our own comprehensive energy plan. So it kind of disbanded after that, and they recently put it back together. There's been a push statewide, like all of the regional planning commissions and all of the groups are really, focused on this again. And so that group will work on rewriting our comprehensive energy plan. We're due again for a new update. And again, working on projects and information, getting stuff out to our community on a regional scale, which is helpful. It's really nice to have the partnership, and we'd love to see more communities like Swanton get involved, because if we can pair regional with municipal, it really covers all of our bases, and I think that it becomes even more effective. Like Swanton can put together an event and really work with the people in the town, and then the region, we can bring people in from all over and get that information as far as possible.
Talking a lot, of course, about EVs, electric vehicles. Boy, there's some issues out there. I mean, price tag, I guess, is still a pretty obvious issue, but shortage of chips I'm sure there are those. Mr. Tesla comes right to mind. Electric vehicles being the wave of the future. Is it, Jen, any thoughts on that? Vermont's not exactly jumping into EVs big time at this point, or am I
Vermont
missing
has
something?
had a lot of EV sales this
that
year.
right?
Like the EV sales, I don't remember the numbers off
Can
the
you
top
give
of
me
my
a
head.
percentage of, or Reg, or anybody, percentage of drivers in Vermont driving EVs? We're talking just, a very small percentage, I assume?
It has increased a lot recently.
Really?
I can't remember the exact percentage,
But it
but
has gone-
the
has come
past
up.
couple years, it's been pretty exponential. And
Really?
I'll just say,
Yeah.
I just bought my first
Oh, yeah.
car, and I'm not, price was a big factor for me,
And
but
an electric vehicle?
yep,
An
I bought an
EV?
electric vehicle. I
Oh.
bought a Nissan Leaf, and It was quite affordable, especially Mileage Smart is a great program for used vehicles in the state. It covers both hybrids and electric cars, and it can give you up to $5,000 back. It's 20% of the price of the car. So that really can take a big chunk out of the price and make a big difference. Not to mention, I have spent very, very little charging my car. It's been, I mean, it's kind of crazy to see the difference in price. So I think there has been a lot of buy-in, and the more people we can get to know about programs like Mileage Smart, the easier the choice will be.
Interesting. Jen, or Reg, any quick thought? Down to about 3 minutes left.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, driving electric vehicles has a huge misnomer that they're super expensive to
Have you
maintain.
got one?
I don't at this moment. But I'm working on that. That's on
Really?
my bucket list. There are, between the state incentives, the utility incentives, and the federal incentives, and then if you do buy or get a level 2 charging station in your garage, the utilities, depending which utility you have, has the ability to connect to that charger potentially to stop the car from charging during the peak electric drought events. So residential increases, hit at, 4 or 5 o'clock, that utility may be able to tell the charger no power to the car right now. You can power it back up at 9 o'clock, and that helps to curtail that power delivery source. But those expenses of installing and purchasing a charger for your home is also federal tax credits available for that. So between $7,500 off on the dollars at time of purchase, the federal tax credits off for installation of a charger, and then the cost to charge an EV versus the cost of a gallon of gas today is $1 equivalent of a gallon of gas. So if you can pay $1 for a gallon of gas in electric versus $4.29 at the pump, I think it is now.
So the
That's a
price
huge
may not be
savings.
quite as daunting as it might seem on the surface.
Yeah,
Well-
Roger just flashed 6,500 EVs in the state of Vermont.
6,500
Oh, is that
EVs
right?
in the
Oh,
state of
thanks.
Vermont.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roger.
Right, interesting. Reg,
Yeah.
about a minute and a half. Anything you quickly want to get into that we haven't touched on?
Well, I just purchased a hybrid today.
Oh, really?
My
Today?
wife, yeah, today for my wife. I got a hybrid F-150 coming for myself.
Well,
I'm going to take small bites out of that elephant, but yeah, I'll do it progressively, slowly. I appreciate the energy that Jen and Marlena has. I mean, that's one of the things that, in the job of a village manager, you get multiple hats that you're wearing multiple times, and it's good to be on a committee that people are motivated and willing to pull their weight and assist you, and you understand if you come in and you don't want to talk to anybody, they're willing to be there to help you walk through the process and stuff. But they're great people to work with, and I'm really tickled to be working with these folks.
Jen, I assume you'd love to see some more people jump onto your committee if they feel so inspired.
Well, absolutely to be on the energy committee, but if energy is not what you want to focus on, most towns have slots open on other committees that
Really?
find your passion
Yeah.
and move in the direction of your passion, because that's going to keep you engaged and involved in those communities. To me, it's the biggest piece is making an impact on the community in which I live in.
Positive.
Right.
Positive impact.
That's going to just about do it. Jen Yando, the member of the Development Review Board in Swanton, co-chair of the Swanton Energy Committee, along with Swanton Village Manager Reg Beliveau, the other co-chair, and Marlena Valenta, Energy and Climate Planner with the Northwest Regional Planning Commission. Thanks a lot for your time, folks, and a lot
Thank you.
of good information. Thanks to producer Roger Lindola. I'm Richard Cobrathwaite for Northwest Access TV. See you next time.